What's up, blockchain? This is Nick from Truth Blitz. I know this is a late one for me, so we'll just come out and get it done. I had some things come up today. I had to bring my wife to the hospital, so that kind of got in the way of me doing a video. But with everything that's happened today, I needed to come out and at least do a quick one. Let's take a quick look at the market cap. Right now we're at 307 billion overall. Bitcoin 171 billion. So for those of you who were paying attention, Bitcoin had passed 11,000 earlier today. And I was talking to Crypto Blood about this. He said that we would probably see a pullback, because I told him, I asked him, I said, when are you thinking we're going to see a pullback? Because it's obvious that as far as psychological markers go, 10,000 is a huge one. So pullback was bound to happen. But we had gotten to 10,000 and passed it, and we had not seen a pullback. So I said, when do you think we're going to see this? And he said, I think we're probably going to see it somewhere between, I think he said around 10.5 to 11. We passed 11,000, and I wanted to get my house in order, so I traded out of Bitcoin into a couple alts. I had, like I said, went to the hospital. I only live a minute away from the hospital, so I got there, we found parking, and got inside, and this was all probably in the course of about 15 minutes. I had checked my Blockfolio before I left. I got there, was in the waiting room, took out my phone, looked at Blockfolio, and I said, holy shit. I said, that happened out of nowhere. We've seen bigger pullbacks, obviously, but it was, for the amount of time that it happened in, it was a very fast pullback. And it wasn't just Bitcoin. Everything went down, it seemed like. Let's take a quick look. We still have just about everything in the red with a very few exceptions. Look at some of these charts here. Everything just drops off. Boom, 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 boom. Everything just drops off in these charts. So, but the thing is, we know that, if you've been in this game a little bit, and you don't have to be a seasoned veteran to know this, even if you've only been in this game for 8 months, a year, this is not gonna last. We see new highs, and then we drop down, and then we end up working our way back up, and we pass that previous high, and we make a new one, and that's just what happens. It is crazy to me how many people are learning about Bitcoin. I put out a couple posts on my personal Facebook page, and I've gotten a lot of people responding to me who have now, who maybe weren't were not responding to my post that I was putting up months ago. I got no interest whatsoever when I talked about cryptos or just Bitcoin. Now, since it's being talked about on the news, we got futures trading opening up within the next couple weeks. So it's being talked about, it's being talked about, and it was talked about at Thanksgiving dinner tables across the country, at dinner tables across the world. So people are starting to, Bitcoin is becoming a household name now. So basically, people are now wanting to know more, wanting to get their feet wet. So I had a lot of interest on these Facebook posts, and I wish I had it pulled up. I had one guy, Let me read it off my phone here. You know, the ignorance and the, we'll just say ignorance of some people astounds me. 1 second, guys. So my post, something's wrong with my Facebook app. It freezes half the time and then shuts off on me. I'll let you know when I bring it up. But most people had a genuine interest and wanted to know more. A couple people responded, people that I know, that turns out they're already into cryptos, and I didn't know. One of them being my cousin, who said that he had bought some Ethereum not too long ago, which that was a surprise to me. And then we had one person who, let me see here. Okay. So my post said, by far the most life-changing thing I have ever done, other than having kids and meeting my fiance, was investing in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptos. A year ago, buying a house and affording a mortgage was a dream. Now, what was a dream is getting closer to reality by the day. In less than a year, I'll be able to buy the house of our dreams outright without needing a mortgage. Get on the wave now before you miss the boat. Now, this one person who I know responds, and just like a wave, it will crash. He then posts a chart, rise and fall of some famous asset bubbles, and of course, top of the list, Tulip Mania. I then proceeded to tell him, one second, if I can pull up my response here. It's frozen again. This Facebook app is worthless. I don't know why it's doing this. Only Facebook does it. Anyway, I told him basically, you don't know what you're talking about. You obviously don't understand anything about this and about the percentage of the population of the world that is actually into this. Because if you did, you would know that this isn't a bubble. And if you even remotely understood the technology behind cryptocurrencies, behind Bitcoin, then you would also know that your statement is bullshit. So, again, you know, some people, and it's going to be that person and those like him that I laugh at in the end. And I'm going to laugh all the way to the bank. And I'm going to say, I told you so, bro. You know, how's that bubble? You know, when Bitcoin is at new all-time highs. And speaking of that, John McAfee has upped the ante on his bet. So let's get into this. When I predicted Bitcoin at 500,000 by the end of 2020, it used the model that predicted 5,000 by the end of 2017. BTC has accelerated much faster than my model assumptions. I now predict Bitcoin at 1 million by the end of 2020. I will still eat my dick if wrong. Excuse my language, guys. I'm just reading it the way he writes it. So the balls, he has got some. Let's put it that way. A very ballsy man to make that prediction. That is, you know, and guess what? It's a strong possibility. You know, when you look at, like I said, the amount of people who actually own Bitcoin is such a small portion of the world. All right. These are people, and not John McAfee, the people who, you know, like the one I talked about on my Facebook, They've never read the Satoshi white paper. They know nothing except for the shit they hear on CNBC from the naysayers, the ones who've been talking shit about Bitcoin and saying it was in a bubble since it was $50, right? It doesn't matter what price it was at or is at, they're always going to say it's in a bubble. And that's just the way it is. So, you know, when their fiat dollars are worthless, or their freaking stocks, you know, because the stock market is due for a crash. And when it crashes, guess what's going to happen to Bitcoin and cryptos? All that money is going to want to come somewhere. And, you know, Cliff High even talked about that, I believe, in the roundtable, the JS Mindset roundtable on Saturday. I believe that's when it was. So all that money is going to want to come somewhere. Guess where it's going to come? Right into the crypto space. So, you know, just a lot of crazy things going on today. If you're new, right? You know, because I remember my first pullback. It wasn't, and today it wasn't even a big pullback. It really wasn't in the grand scheme of things. You know, I thought I was going to throw up. And somebody else, a girl who I know, I don't know her very well, but I know her well enough. She commented something about, and I found out she's into Bitcoin. Something about hang on for this roller coaster ride and blah, blah, blah. And it's exactly what it is. It's like a roller coaster. And if you're new, that first big dip that you make it through, you feel like you're going to throw up, just like a roller coaster. That's what happens. But like I said, you learn, you see it through. You know, hopefully you don't panic sell, because you'll be kicking yourself later. I've done that. I've panic sold. I remember one time I panic sold, and that was my first big Ethereum dip. And then I ended up losing money because the price came back up, and I bought in at a higher price than I sold it. That was in the very beginning. So, you know, just my experiences of, you know, my first dip with Ethereum. But these people will never understand. Some of these people you will never be able to reach. And that's fine. I don't need to reach everybody. But if I can get a few people into cryptos, then, you know, I'm happy, because they're all going to get left in the dust if they don't get on board the train. And that's just the way it is. Take a quick look at some of these articles real quick. This one here caught my eye. 11,000 cripple coin. Roger Ver's Bitcoin criticism finds zero support. I don't know what's going to happen with Bitcoin Cash, the whole Bitcoin Cash versus Bitcoin thing. I really don't. But all the new people who come into the space, Bitcoin is like the, you know, the entry coin. You know, that's the one people hear about the most. That's the one that's talked about the most on the mainstream news, right? So people aren't going to buy Bitcoin Cash for their first entry into the crypto space. They're going to buy Bitcoin because it is the original first cryptocurrency. It's the king of all cryptocurrencies. So they're going to buy the real Bitcoin. And I call it the real Bitcoin because it is the real Bitcoin. It's the first one. Now, I'm not saying that Bitcoin Cash may not someday become the real Bitcoin, because that's still up for discussion. That's still up in the air. But as of right now, all these new people buying into Bitcoin are buying into Bitcoin. Just like I just said, they're not buying into Bitcoin Cash. Maybe that'll change if and when Bitcoin Cash gets listed on Coinbase. But as of right now, that's where the money is coming into, is Bitcoin. And we've seen Bitcoin Cash come up in price and then, you know, come back down and fluctuate recently, but the real money is coming into the first Bitcoin, and that's just the way it is. I haven't really looked at too many other articles on here. There's just been so much going on today between life and you know, just this market today, that I really haven't had time to do much of anything. But I do know as soon as I end this video, I am going to go stock up on a couple altcoins, make a few buys while prices are down, and you know, add to my portfolio. Like Silvertooth said the other day, get your portfolios right before March. And I made a video talking about that. He's right. You know, the money is, you know, just like I said, when all this interest that was shown on my Facebook post, if I would have made that post 2 weeks, a month down the road, let's just say, for example, if I made that post after Christmas, I guarantee you that I would have had 5 times more people responding to it. I actually still have people responding to it as we speak. I haven't checked them yet, but you know, we're going to see, we are seeing, and are going to continue to see a lot of new people entering into the space, buying Bitcoin, buying Ethereum. You know, I just helped somebody out who had a nice portion of Ethereum get into some of the alts. You know, some of the cliff high picks, which are, you know, the ones that I'm into. Just some of them. But, you know, so what I'm going to do is I am going to go and add to my portfolio. I'm going to get it right. So that way, when that money comes in and those prices go to the moon, I'm positioned where I want to be positioned. And I suggest that you guys do the same thing. Anyway, guys, I know I'm kind of just rambling on right now, but I wanted to come out and at least make something. You know, like I said, I planned on doing a video earlier before this pullback happened. You know, we had some things happen. We had to take care of them. But I wanted to come out and at least talk about what's going on. Talk about this post. Talk about John McAfee up in the ante on his bet. And I really hope he doesn't have to eat his own dick. So, until next time, guys, follow me on Twitter at TruthBlitzMedia, and I'll see you guys in the next one.